Hey everybody, this is Becky Browning with Wallflower Greetings. Thank you for joining me. This is my first episode of Crafty Trails where I show you how you can craft on the go. So I am here in beautiful El Paso, Texas, and yes, it is beautiful. I love the food, I love the people, I love the culture, I love the weather. It is gorgeous. Today it was like in the 80s for a high. This morning it was a little cool, so you did need a jacket, but it quickly warmed up. So all I can say is if you travel here, you may need to, dress in layers. But anyway, it is beautiful. I'm enjoying myself immensely, even though I'm having to work. And I decided to share with you my crafting when I travel, because this is something that I love to do. It's something that I tend to, be working on a project or something when I'm going somewhere. So I thought, why not share it with you? Why do I do this? Well, for me, if you're a crafter or you like creative things, crafting for me is something that helps me problem solve. It helps me de-stress. It just helps me to think outside the box. So really and truly, it does help me with my job. With my career and helping other people, and so it's just a big part of my life. So I want to share with you what I'm working on here. I call this episode Love Notes because that's really what I'm working on. I'm working on some things for Valentine's Day, and granted, not everybody's into Valentine's Day, I get that, but it doesn't have to be about sappy love note kind of stuff. It doesn't have to be that. I think that Valentine's Day really actually signifies just anyone that you care about that you want to send a note to. And that could be something as simple as a thank you or I'm thinking of you. So it doesn't necessarily have to be, dripping with, all those things that are kind of over the top for a lot of us. But this is really an easy thing to do when you're traveling. And this is really fun if you have kids. If you have kids with lots of energy and you're traveling with them and you've already done all the swimming you can handle, this is another thing that you can do to keep them busy. And it's a great little activity that you can, they can make and they can give to their teachers or to their other classmates for Valentine's Day. So let me show you what I have here. You don't need a whole lot of materials. Now, I am guilty of bringing too much with me. But for this, you do need some colors of your Stampin' Right markers. So you just pick some colors that you like that go with the project that you're thinking of. For this, I'm using Real Red and Basic Black for my markers. So that way, I don't have to bring a bunch of ink pads with me, which take up a lot of space. And this really gives you a lot of versatility. You could bring quite a few of them, and it doesn't take up a lot of space in your suitcase. So I've got a couple of markers here. The other thing that I have is I've got some designer series paper. Now you could do this or not if you plan ahead a little bit. If you just want to use Whisper White, just a plain Whisper White paper for this project, you definitely could do that and add your own color with the markers. But for this, I chose to cut out some hearts of different sizes using the Sweet and Sassy, I think that's what it's called, Thinlit dies. It's the heart dies that's in our annual catalog. And they layer, so there's quite a few different sizes, and there's a different shape to them. So you have the traditional heart that's kind of the fat heart, and then you have the one that has the little point that makes a teardrop. Let me see if I can find that, because that actually, let's see. Where'd it go? I had it picked out. Anyway, it has a little point, a little teardrop point to it. Oh, here it is. Yep, there it is right there. So this is a great way to use up designer series paper, just scraps that you have. This particular pattern right here that has the dots on the black background and then the stripes on the other side is from some designer series paper from about 2 years ago, I think. And so I thought I'm just going to use a bunch of that up. But also, too, you could use some of your new stuff. It's really pretty. So just think outside the box and think about all the paper that you have lying around, all the scraps. These right here that I cut out are from some new designer series paper. This is a 6x6 paper stack from the Occasions catalog for 2018. This is the Party, I looked it up, let me think of what it is. Picture Perfect Party, that's what it is. So on one side it has a pattern. As you see here, there's some dots here with white, and I'm not sure what color these are without looking them up, but they're real pretty. On the back, on this particular paper, this looks like icing. So some of them have birthday candles and cake and just all cupcakes, I think, and cookies and all kinds of things that you would associate with a party. But this looks like icing to me. But I thought that looked really cool as a paper heart. So I cut out all these different sizes of hearts, the largest of each, and then, you know, some different sizes of the smaller ones just to play with. So if you want to do that, you could cut some of those out ahead of time and just have them. I just brought them in a little Ziploc bag, and that was easy to take with me. The other thing that I brought is some dimensionals. Those are great as well, but you don't necessarily have to have adhesive for this project if you don't want to mess with it. I also have some snail over there as well. The other thing you'll notice here is I have my hotel stationery. This is perfect for the inside sentiment, or the you know, for smaller things in your card or your project if you don't want to mess with bringing a bunch of paper. So this is always great. Okay, so what I have done here is there's a couple of things you can do. You'll notice here that I have a couple of little envelopes here. And one of them kind of fell apart. All right, so these are my envelopes, and these are actually made with the hearts that I cut out, the largest of the hearts. So let me show you when I open them up what they look like. So what I did is, here's the envelope, and here's a little heart kind of sealing it or keeping it shut so I can open it up. Okay, oops, no, that one tore a little bit. And I'm opening this up, and it's actually a heart. Now the message is upside down, so I'm going to turn it around so I can read the message. And the one that I have in here is just for you, and it has that stamped across the middle on some of this stationery from the hotel, and a heart behind it, a small heart. And so the envelope itself is the largest heart. So I will show you how to do that. It's really, really easy to do. All I did was fold this. So I folded it up to make my envelope. Okay. Now some of this, I didn't do any measuring. I didn't do any marking or anything like that. This folded up pretty nicely. This one's a little wonky, but you know, it's okay. I think it's the thought that counts. And if your kiddos are doing this, you don't want them to get too worried about it being perfect and, you know, being a bunch of perfection. So in the inside of this heart, I actually stamped a sentiment that says, let's see if I can read it here under the camera, "You're my Valentine every single day." And then I have a little heart over here. So that's the inside of this little envelope, and I'm probably going to give that to my husband. I think the other one I'm probably going to give to my hotel cleaning staff. I think that would be a nice little gift for them. So let me show you a little bit about how I put these together. So you may wonder, you know, you don't have to have stamps. You could just use the markers to write your sentiment on the inside, because the great thing about these markers is there's two different tips. There is a fine point tip, which is great for writing, you know, writing sayings or writing things, little messages, and a brush tip. So that's really great. You really don't have to have anything other than that. You can just hand write your message on the inside. The messages that you saw on these two little hearts are from this stamp set. This is Sure Do Love You. This is in the Occasions catalog for 2018. By the way, this is also the featured stamp set in my kit, my Sure Do Love You kit for February. So today, actually, is the deadline to sign up to get this stamp set, plus some other little goodies, plus the projects to make 8 different cards or projects using this stamp set. So if you want to get involved in that, please contact me. I'd be glad to help you out with that. And I have an online class that you can participate in, so you can follow it step by step and put together the projects. So anyway, I used this particular stamp set to do my messages. So I'll show you how to do that here in a second. So let's first talk about how I made the little envelopes. It's just a matter of folding the hearts. So I'm going to use the new designer series paper here, this Picture Perfect Party, and I'm trying to decide which one I want on the outside. And I think for this I want the polka dots on the outside. So in order to do that, I want to have the inside facing up towards me, which is this frosting looking side. So what you're going to do is your rounded heart part, the top, you're going to fold each side. So like the right hand side here, I'm just going to fold it over a little bit, and I want it to be fairly straight, although I'm not measuring, I'm not doing anything. So I'm just going to fold this where I think I want it, where it looks straight to me. That's not folded over very far, but let's see if we like that. Because however far we fold this over makes, kind of determines the size of our envelope. And I want it kind of equal on both sides. So basically I'm folding over the sides that's going to become my envelope sides. That looks okay. I think I may want to, I'm going to just fold this over a little bit farther. That looks, no, let me fold it. See, again, this is not an exact science, and I'm doing this on camera, which really is a little bit harder, actually. There we go. I think that's better. Okay. So if you have a bone folder, that's great. If you don't, just use your fingernail to kind of get a good burnish to your fold. So now you have both of your sides folded over. So actually the point or the bottom of your heart is actually going to be the top of your envelope. So right now, as we're looking at this, the rounded parts of your heart at the top now are kind of have little points, and we're going to fold those down, okay? And I would say fold that down about half, well, about to the point where the curve starts. So right down here. This is kind of hard to explain on camera, so hopefully you're following along. If not, I can always walk you through this again. And again, you can tell that your folds are not straight when you get to this step, but it really doesn't matter. Okay, I'm not going to get too worried about that. Now, actually, when I've turned this around, you can tell that this looks sort of like an envelope, and it's kind of off. I can tell already by looking at it. But now here's the top flap of my envelope. And yeah, mine is way off. You can tell my folds are way off. Doing this on camera, not so good. Let me see if I can fold this a little bit better. You know, this may not be my best effort, being that it's on camera. Yeah, that's not right either. But you get the idea. Yeah. Yeah. Let me try this again. I'm going to have a bunch of folds in this one for sure. No, don't like that either. And I will tell you, it really is not that hard. It's just hard when you're trying to do it on camera. So let's see if that looks any better. Yeah, that's better. But anyway, this is my little envelope. Looks like that. I think it's very cute. So there's the heart envelope. Yeah. Now, what you can do is you can take a smaller heart to make your closure. And I tried to do it where I didn't glue down the flap so that people could open it up really easily without tearing their heart. So to do that, I'm going to take one of these dimensionals and I'm going to put it kind of towards the bottom of my envelope, towards the middle. Okay, peel off the backing, And I'm going to take another little bitty heart. Let me find one that works with this. So if I have one that coordinates, let's see what this looks like. Yeah, there we go. And I'm going to put that on the front. And what I'm going to do is just kind of tuck that flap down inside underneath it. Kind of like that. So there you go. There's your envelope. Again, a little wonky, but I think it's cute. Who cares? Little wonky is kind of cool. All right. So now when you open it up, your heart, if you open it up that way, is upside down. Most people are going to turn it around to read it. So you could do one of two things. You could put your message in here just like this, or you could put your message in upside down, whichever you like. And, you know, easily enough, all you have to do is, I'm going to take some of this white paper, my stationery from my hotel, because I didn't bring anything else, and that's perfectly fine. So all I have to do is write my message inside, you know, on this paper, or I can use a stamp. Let me show you how you do that real quick. So I'm going to take this Just For You stamp, and you know what, I'm going to use the red because I think the red will look just fine with this. I'm going to use the brush tip, so I want to find the brush tip. Here we go. And what I'm going to do is I am going to just brush over this rubber here, this stamp, and add color to it. So this is a way to use your stamps without having to have an ink pad and to have to carry around a bunch of stuff. Okay, so once I have it colored, I'm just going to stamp. And what I love about being in a hotel is you have a great, nice, firm work surface. So I'm going to just stamp this straight down, press pretty good, and voila, I've got a message. So I'm just going to take my scissors. So you might want a pair of scissors. One thing, if you don't have scissors, it's not the end of the world. You could actually tear this. Let me show you how I'm going to do that. I'm actually going to tear this. I'm just going to make it look rustic, so to speak, by tearing the paper. So I don't even need scissors. How about that? There you go. I like that. So all you'd have to do is take your little message here and just roll it up inside there if you want to, and put it inside your heart without even having to glue it down or nothing if you don't want to. Kind of like a little fortune cookie. Okay, so then you just put it back in there, fold up your envelope, and voila, there you go. Anyway, that is pretty easy, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed this little tutorial, and I'm going to be working on a bunch of these. Hopefully they'll look a little bit better than this folding wise, but again, working under a camera is a little different than when you're actually looking at it. So I hope you'll give this a try. If you like this, give me a thumbs up, and I will see you next week for another episode of Crafty Trails. Thank you.